Hey everyone, it's Mike Valtos, and welcome to the Orderflows market analysis for September 7, 2017. It's actually mid-session. It's around, what time is it? It's around 11 a.m. Chicago time. I'm recording this one a bit early. I didn't get one out yesterday, but there's some interesting things this morning that, I didn't have the trading room this week. I'm just a little bit caught up with some other stuff, but I do want to talk about a few interesting things this morning in some of these markets. So, brief disclaimer: this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. Should not be considered a solicitation to buy or sell a futures contract or make any other type of investment decision. Futures trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, the tools used in this presentation are the same as always: the Orderflows Trader Volume Footprint Chart and the Delta Scalper. I may talk about a couple other indicators when you see them in there, but the main ones that I use in my trading right now are the Orderflows Trader and the Delta Scalper. I have other indicators that I use, but I don't want to get too confusing for people, especially those that are relatively new to order flow and are trying to learn it. Keep it simple. Learn a few things. There's a lot of different aspects of order flow, and if you try to learn everything at once, you're just going to, in the end, confuse yourself, and it's kind of pointless. So stick to, a few things with order flow and go from there, build from there. So bonds this morning were quite interesting. Go back to, the heights you had earlier at 5:52. It's very slow morning actually coming into the session. From midnight until 5:30, you got one bar. Finally you hit this new high here. You got a divergence. You don't have a bullish you don't have a bearish ratio. You have the Delta Scalper kicking off though, giving you a sell signal. Next bar, it comes back up a little bit. You got you've got three imbalances in there. But again, it's market at this point is really doing nothing. Even taking the sell signal here, I think is a bit of a stretch. Market's just too quiet at this time to really get too excited. You really got a couple of selling imbalances, point of control up near the top. You got the Delta Scalper, you got the divergence, you got a few things going on in there. We do come back up, test the high again. You got another divergence. Then you sell off. You get to this bar. This bar is very interesting here at 654. Point of control right on the bottom, on the extreme. Bullish ratio. Nice positive delta. I love this bar. This is a great bar it's a great buying opportunity. The only thing I would love about it more if this was on the low of the day. I don't want to call this a swing, but we did sell off from the high over the next couple bars. But the way the morning's been since yesterday, since last night, that's a move in this market. Honestly, it was just so slow. Someone made a comment, please try not to, please no cursing, no profanity, so I'm going to try and keep it clean. If something comes out, it's just because I'm excited. I don't mean anything bad by it. Sometimes I get excited and I get all caught up in it. When I was on the trading floor, everyone on the trading floors, swear like sailors. And what I learned was, don't cross the line and make it personal. When I use profanity, generally it's just as adjectives. I don't mean anything by it, and I sorry if I apologize to anybody, but I'm sorry if I offended anybody. But again, I sometimes I just get excited, and when I get excited, I tend to sort of veer off track, a bit like Donald Trump. But anyway, you rally up from this swing low, point of control right on the bottom, very bullish bar, get up to the high, divergence, no ratio, price rejector kicking in. Next bar, you got the ratio. And next bar, you got another ratio. We start moving lower. You got two imbalances. This aggressive selling coming in. You get down here, point of control towards the bottom. Earlier that was at I think that was at 18, 19. Down here it gets down to 20. See some supportive buying coming in here. Next bar starts rallying back up. You got a bullish ratio. You got the Delta Scalper kicking in. A nice positive delta. And what happens? Next bar is up, and then it comes right back down. But we come back down to this 20 level again, where you had stopped before. Again, point of control towards the bottom. Delta Scalper again, giving you a nice signal. So, had you taken this one, maybe you were stopped out. If you're short from here, from this ratio and divergence, this trade really, you'd probably be looking at break even. I don't think you'd be, taking a loss up here. I think you'd be sort of breaking even when it sort of comes back into this area, maybe losing a tick or so. But I was really expecting a bigger move. I was expecting to move down to 16. Didn't happen. Then you anyway, 828.6. You're in this bar here. Point of control towards the low of the bar. Delta scalper as well. Nice positive delta, 1100. You start rallying. You got a high. You have a ratio, but you don't have a divergence. Point of control is up near the top, so all you have at this point is a ratio. And when we get ratios, I do expect pullbacks to those levels. So right now there's no major reason to be getting short. There is this buying imbalance 1066, which is bearish actually. But the market came right back really quick. Yeah, again, if it was looking to sell off, usually this sort of bar, where you have the buying imbalance here, selling imbalances on the way down, you close lower, is a bearish bar to me. But hey, you had this what do you call it, delta scalper right here. So if you're buying it at 24, you're looking at this bar and it's kind of bearish. So maybe you're covering it up here at 28, 29. So you had that's giving you five ticks right there. And then if you didn't cover it, if you're waiting for the next delta scalper signal to come in, didn't come in, when I say the next delta scalper signal, I mean the next sell signal. You already had a buy. You had a couple buys this morning. You just sort of ran into this bar that's kind of bearish. So maybe you would have lightened up and taken it off, and then you're missing this major move. That happens in trading. Sometimes you get out because what the market is telling you at this point in time is, there's a sign in here that the market could sell off. I mean, what can you do if you're a trader, right? And you see signs, right? You're looking at the market at this point. Okay, let's be honest, right? I could sit here and say, no, you can't sell it, but this is something I would normally be looking to sell, this type of bar. Honestly, I'd be looking for a pullback up to the 31 level and then the sell off. So for me to say, yeah, you have this buy here and you'd hold it all the way up to this move is disingenuous. That's a term now that I hear all the time on the news. The way these politicians talk is disingenuous. So I'm not going to say that, yeah, I would have bought it here and held it all the way up, up here, all the way up to 157, 20. No, I've seen this bar, I would have gotten out, honestly. But people say, well, you're a lousy trader. No, I've sold these bars many times, and that's just a very bearish bar to me. So anyway, we do rally up. He's getting some nice buying imbalances here. 25.88, 17.89. You come back up here, you got not a ratio, no divergence, still positive delta, still going higher. Right now we're sort of selling off a bit here. We have the divergence, you don't have a ratio. Again, point of control is in these bars, sort of in the middle. But what do you got up here? You got negative delta 970, 892, 309. This is a sign of a market selling off just by reading the delta, just by seeing how the delta is forming. It just looks like this market's coming back down. It would have been nice. Yeah, I admit, it would have been nice to say, yeah, you easily, yum trade, you got to buy this here. You wouldn't sell it here. But honestly, looking at this, you would have gotten out. You should have, I would have gotten out here based off this, this bar. Then I would have missed the full point move. But, sometimes that happens. It sucks, but, that's the reality of it. I don't want to make you think it's something else when it's not. Now 5 years this morning. Again, it's 645. You got your high divergence. 733, a new high divergence and a ratio. Do you sell off? Not really. You sell off about 4 or 5 ticks. Rally back up to the high. You got another divergence. So right now you've got already, from 6:45 to 8 o'clock, you've already got 3 failed divergences, which is a sign of, if we start rallying up and making new highs, again, that's a sign that we can go higher, right? That the market is pushing higher. The trend hasn't really started yet. You don't know if it's going to be a trend day or a non-trend day. But right now, you keep bumping up against this highs. You got the failed divergence earlier. You got a divergence. I'm curious as hell to see. Curious as heck to see if we come back up here and take out this high. If we take out this high, we could be off to the races. And what do you see right now? You're seeing some nice positive deltas building up, 3,000, 9,000. Let's just walk it through. You get here, 824, you got a bearish bar. You got another divergence. You've got a ratio, which is bearish. But again, if you're shorting it, you know, you're just looking at a few bars here earlier that you had ratios, you had the divergence, one with the ratio and divergence that didn't really sell off. So now you're looking again at another ratio and divergence. It might sell off, it might not. We don't know yet. 856, next bar, it's a bullish ratio. Comes right back with the bullish ratio. So you have the bearish ratio, you got a bullish ratio, you've got the divergence here. So this bar is bearish, but you run right back into a bullish bar. And look at the delta again, 2,151. So the delta is strong. There's good buying coming in here. Take out the high, 3 imbalances as you're taking out the high. At this point, again, you've got 4 failed divergences already in not even 2 hours. That's a sign. The 5 years for for the 5 years to move, be making 4 new highs in 2 hours is a big thing, because sometimes it's sort of like a sleeping giant. It just sort of meanders along, but once it picks up a head of steam and starts rallying, watch out, you could get a good rally. Here you got another nice strong delta, 4,500. Get up here, another divergence. What's going to happen? We got a ratio, again, bearish. This one failed, but it came right back. You saw the sign right here that is going to fail. What happens? Same thing. Bullish ratio, stacked buying imbalance, nice delta, 3,000. So again, if you're looking at this bearish ratio and you're thinking of getting short, as soon as you see this bar coming in like this, you got to get out. Don't fight it. You got a bullish, very bullish bar right after you got the bearish bar. Don't sit here and think, well, I got this bearish signal, I'm going to let it either come down to my profit or stop me out. No, you get out early. Get out, before it stops you out. Save yourself a few ticks. So what happens? Boom, new high. You got a nice buying imbalance here, 6,000. Look at the delta, 4,500 positive. So where market's picking up a head of steam and starting to go higher. Here, this one's interesting. You get a new high, negative delta actually, but it's an up bar. It's an up bar, closed higher than where it opened. Why do you have a negative delta on a bar on a new high? That market's going higher still. You got a green bar. That's the difference between the order flow trader software and most other order flow volume footprint charts. Is a lot of other charts would read this as a divergence, which for me is not a divergence. Why? Yeah, you have negative delta at a new high, but you don't have the price action of the bar. I'm not interested in getting short on a bar that closes higher. No. I want the bar, if I'm going to be looking to get short, I want it, the bar to be trading lower. I don't want to be the bar still rallying. Why would you get short on a bar that's trading up, trading higher? Maybe people say, well, maybe you get a better fill. No, you don't look to get short a rallying market unless you have a really legitimate reason. But if one of the reasons why you want to get short is you think the market's going to come off, but the market is still rallying, what's the point? It's kind of no reason. Anyway, how can a market rally on negative delta? Well, when you have supportive buying here, you got 6,234. That's why you have the negative delta, because you got very big volume up here. You got a very strong bidder coming in at this, what was that, 28 level, 118.28, supporting the market. Okay, next bar. We don't even come back down to that level because there's a big buyer down there. Again, a nice positive delta, 2,600, a nice bullish ratio. Up here, you get up here, you got a new high. Now you have another divergence. So again, if you are buying these breakouts, buying breakouts is a tricky proposition. It's not as cut and dry as people think. On trending days, yeah, it's the greatest trading method out there. If the day is going to be a trending day, but if it's a non-trending day, it's probably one of the worst trading strategies you can have. So any way you could identify that it's a potential trending day early, buying breakouts is going to help you. And one of the ways you can determine that is with failed divergences coming, in succession, and you got it. So if you're buying it here, right? I mean, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 failed divergences. You could safely, I think, buy this breakout here. And this is how you want the bracket to break out. You wanted to break out with aggressive buying, with buying imbalances. It would be much more beautiful if it was a stacked imbalance. But you got this one, 1247 gets 1961, so you don't have the what do you call it, the ratio to give you the stacked imbalance. But all these other ones, you got 3 imbalances, in there. So again, it's still important, even though it's not stacked. A little bit later, you do get the stacked imbalance. Again, you got the next divergence here that you come right back. You got aggressive buying, the stacked imbalance, and boom, you take out the next high. Okay, again, even if you didn't buy it here, coming back up here, you could also buy it. What's your risk? Your risk is not much. You're only talking a few ticks, which in trading, that's what you want. You want to limit your risks. So anyway, keep going higher, keep going higher. Another divergence that fails. You get up here to this high, you got the bearish ratio. Still got positive delta, so you don't have the, how to say it, you don't have the ratio, the divergence, because you got the positive delta. But again, take a look at the delta, and that's why I like these delta candles here. It's, if you join the inner circle, you get the delta candles because it's visual. I'm a visual person. I like Instagram and things like that. I like looking at pictures, but the brain processes images much faster than text, right? So yeah, you could read the delta. You don't need the delta candles, but it just makes it for much quicker identification. And what do you got? You got very early in this bar, very strong positive delta, 7,600. It only ended up at 2,245, which is strong. Don't get me wrong, but to go from 7,600 to only 2,200, it gave back 5,000. It gave back quite a bit of delta. Okay, so maybe you're not convinced here. You wait for the next bar. A couple of imbalances: 2,700, 5,000. Strong negative delta, minus 3,900. So you got your high on kind of weakening delta. It's kind of hidden in there. That's why I like order flows, because you could see this information. You could see how it's even though it's positive delta, you could analyze it and know it's weakening. Pretty easily. Next bar, not all, but predominantly negative delta, so predominantly dominated by sellers. You got the you got the imbalance here, imbalance there, and it's starting to look bearish. And what happens? We continue off over the next 2 or 3 bars, heading a bit lower right now. Okay, really quick, this is the E-mini. This is the 4-range chart, and again, it's kind of a quiet morning during the European session, but nevertheless, we made a low here at 257. So, a little bit earlier, 217, you had a divergence that failed. Then you got another divergence, but at this time you got the delta scalper giving you a buy signal, and it's a beautiful one. Again, it's any reason that you could have to be buying off a low or selling off a high, take it. Say you have any sort of trading setups, and it's a buy setup, and you're trading near the low, take it. I think you're going to get more out of the trade than if you're taking it in the middle of a range, or if you're trading higher. Just as if you get a sell signal up near the high, take it. Your risk is going to be a little bit less, I think, and you got potential to go from your high to your low and keep going lower. So anyway, what happens? You got your buy signal here right off the low, and you do rally. You rally up to new highs. I mean, there's no reason to be getting short here. You just got a bearish ratio here. It's not the end of the world, but it's coming already a bar after you're getting into the trade. You come up here, you start making new highs up here. So again, what's this level? When you get the 2461, 61 and a half, what does it do? It rallies all the way up to 65. Sorry, 66. You got the delta scalper giving you a sell here, and does it work? No, it comes right back up, hits the high again. Got a stack buying imbalance, stack selling imbalance right at that same level where you had, right around where you had the delta scalper. So you're getting some bearish signs up here. Actually, you've got divergences. 1, 2. You got less volume the second time you come up there. You got the delta scalper. You've got stack selling imbalance. And what happens, unfortunately, is the market just goes sideways on you. That sucks. And again, with these stacked imbalances, the reason why I draw these levels out, this red area, 5 levels, if I know that if by the 3rd, 4th level, if we're still hanging around the stacked imbalance, chances are it's going to fail. So I got a lot of bearish stuff in here, divergence, delta scalper, stacked imbalance, divergence and ratio. I'm all excited. Let's get short. what happens? Nothing. Market just goes sideways. Now that's your clue. That's your cue to get out of the trade. Don't let the market come up here to 67.5 and that's where you get out. No, if by the fifth bar, definitely if you're still in it, get out. The move should have happened already. It's not happening. So we do start making new highs. Got a ratio and divergence. So, you're looking up here and honestly you're thinking, well, I got failed divergence, failed divergence, failed divergence, and a ratio. But it comes right back up with a bullish ratio, right? So again, you got this divergence, you got the bearish ratio, but what happens? The market comes right back with a bullish ratio. That's not a good sign that this is going to sell off. And you start to come up here and make a new high. You got another divergence. So you made a new high. Yeah, great. You made a new high by, what is that, 3 ticks. And what are you looking at now? You got your new high. You have point of control up near the top. You got a nice strong negative delta, 1,000. Next bar is actually up. It's a green bar. Negative delta is 62. But you get here, stack selling imbalance. You got a zero print as well, which is bearish. Next bar, you come in here, you've got a bullish ratio, which is a terrible sign to get right after you got a stacked imbalance. What you want is, you don't want this bar. What you want is this bar right here with the bearish ratio. And you get a little bit of a sell-off. You start seeing, you're coming into the cash open. It's right here at 8:30 actually. You're seeing some selling imbalances, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You come down in here, you got the price rejection giving you the buy. You're looking at getting positive deltas. Now you're getting buying imbalances. No longer do you have the aggressive selling. Instead, you got some aggressive buying coming in. Okay, so did this work? Not really. You got a little bit of a sell-off. It's not the greatest move from this stacked selling imbalance. It's maybe a point you can get out of it before you start realizing that we're coming back up. Then here you get this, I'll say swing high. You get within 2 points of the high, 2 ticks rather of the high. And then you've got delta scalper again. You got the bearish ratio. Ideally you'd like to have, maybe point of control at the top or something, a little bit something else. But again, you have a sell signal up near the high of the day. It's not right on the high of the day, but it's close enough to the high of the day. You're talking about a point away from the high of the day. That's good enough. Just as you'd be looking at taking this sell signal here, the stacked imbalance here, you got the delta scalper giving you a sell right here. And what happens is you start selling off, boom, 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 selling off. This is what level is that? 66.5. You start selling off, come all the way down here, you get within a couple of ticks of the low, you get down to 60.5. So you went from 66.5 down to 60.5. Even if you're covering it up here at 62.5, maybe you're thinking, oh, we just bounced up. But again, look at this delta. It's still negative delta. All negative delta. You do have some supportive buying in here with this 3497. Even the next bar, 2694, 2392. But again, you're seeing this buying coming in. You should be thinking, are we going to go up or not? That's supportive. You would think the market should rally back up. But again, it's been a quiet day for the most part in the S&Ps, and this is your opening price, this line here. And in the markets that are directionless, you often will just hang around your opening price. And what happens is we come down to the low down here. We hit the low, trade 157. Okay, what happens? We bounce, we rally back up to that yellow line. You got the bearish ratio, you sell off again, boom, you hit the low again. 60 lots this time. Now this, I like it when you're retesting lows. I'm always interested in that. So first time you hit that low at 257, you had 107. But now the cash is open. You hit it. You got 157 at 9:13. Again, at this point, I'm not really looking at what happened at 2 in the morning. With order flow, you don't really need to spend a lot of time on, all this stuff to the left. You got to look to the left a little bit, but you don't have to go back to 2 in the morning. You can, like here, I'm just curious, what the volume was at this time. It was 107. Here's 157, so it's a little bit, it's 50% more, but it's still around the same level. But then you hit that low. You got the price rejector giving you a buy signal. You've got less volume, so you got 60 lots traded against 157 the first time, which again is also a bullish sign. And what happens is you start rallying. But at this point, honestly, I'm just looking for this market to sort of come back up here to hang around, hit maybe the 63.25 area and then sell off again. What you do is you rally back up here, and you can see the aggressive selling coming in here, 335, 2101. But then it comes back here with some nice aggressive buying, 400, 400, 800, and you really put in a decent rally all the way up to the 66, 67 area up in here. You're starting to see some bearish ratio here. Again, you got 398, same level, 32, so you got less volume. Delta Scalper giving you a sell right in here. So you got the swing high. Your high for the day is up here at 68 and 3/4, and this is 67. I don't want to say it's close, so you're talking about 2 points away. But it's a swing high, right? And you're getting some bearish signs in here. Even if it's a swing high, I would still treat it as if it was a high of the day. And at this point, you're looking at it, and you got some bearish signs in here. Then you got the Delta Scalper. Here you got the ratio. You got less volume. You've got the Delta Scalper giving you a sell. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a selling opportunity. Easily, imagine if this was the high of the day right here at 67 and 1/4. You'd be looking at it. I'd be looking at it and making the same analysis. I treat swing highs. What I look for at highs of the day, I also look at swing highs. What I look at lows of the day, I also look at swing lows. And what happens is, so I know that for sell off, my immediate target is going to be this yellow line, because again, I'd be looking for the market to sort of hang around there, trade down towards it, and maybe go there for a while and just sort of hang around, rotate around it. So you get down to it and you keep going. You don't immediately come down to the low, but look, you're just sort of hanging around here. What time is it now? It's about almost 11:30. You're just sort of hanging around that level. So again, I'm not saying you get short here and you cover it down here. No, honestly, I'd be looking to cover it somewhere just below this 63.25, maybe 63, 62.5. So that's a nice 4-point move there. Now the last market I'll talk about is crude oil, Texas tea. Let me just go back a bit here. Let me just find my chart. And here it is. So again, crude oil this morning, right off the low. You got this low here. Look at this delta. Minus 557 is the min delta in this bar. Ends up at 35. Market starts trading higher. You got the market turning around. So very strong sellers early in the bar. And then the bar, essentially, after you get to that low point, with all the selling, the buying comes in. So the selling, where's happened to the selling? It's not there anymore, right? Instead, you're seeing aggressive buying, and that's the beauty of it. It's hidden in there. It's hidden in the delta. That's why you should really pay attention to the max and min delta, not just the final delta. Next bar, Delta Scalper, giving you a nice buy signal. And what does it do? It goes up from the 76 area all the way up into the 90s. 4,900 actually gets up to, but really 49.94, somewhere in here. You're starting to see the red candles. And what does this market do? It just sort of goes sideways on you. Honestly, I thought this was a little bit bearish here, but honestly, it just started going sideways. Then you got this. You poke up here. You poke up to the opening price again, 49.14, and you have this. You have this area here, right? This is the interesting part. So you got this sideways action, and then all of a sudden, boom, very aggressive buying coming in. You see 4 imbalances in this bar. Next bar, you got stacked imbalance and another 2 imbalances up here. Then you get here. You hit the opening price. This is the red line, is the price rejector. Still got positive delta. You're not going any higher. It looks like you're breaking out of this range in here. Right, so you're expecting the market to really make a move higher, and it doesn't. It just hits that area, rotates off of it, starts selling off. You got the bearish ratio here. You got this couple imbalances. But again, ask yourself. You should be asking. This is part of being a trader, asking what's going on in the market. When you have very bullish signals, and you got it here with nice positive deltas, and the multiple boatload of imbalances. You're expecting the market to go higher, but something's changed in the market, from here to here. I mean, the cash opened, obviously, and this is 8:31, but you're seeing a shift, right? You're seeing a shift from what looked like, demand in the market is all of a sudden now you're seeing supply coming in, 196, 255, 521. Then you get down here, small delta. You know, I don't want to say it went from 220 to minus 15. That was a big swing. Not really. Honestly, it's kind of small. I mean, over, you know, where was it? This one, you know, 557 to 35. That was a strong one. But, you know, about 200 to 15 is not that strong. You know, you get the delta scalper giving you a buy in here. You get some nice positive delta. Does it really rally? Not really. It kind of goes sideways. Then you start seeing some, you know, some selling coming in here. You know, sideways, 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 sideways. Then you had this 10 o'clock. You got some activity came in out. You got the stacked imbalance here, and again, it comes right back with a bullish ratio. That's not a good sign. You have a stacked selling imbalance. You want a bearish ratio, not a bullish ratio. What else? There was something. I thought there was something else I wanted to talk about here. So, oh yeah, so we started rallying up in here. Again, you know, our high is up here, 49.33. We got back up to the opening price, 49.14. Some nice buying coming in here again, you know, as we're rallying up towards this opening price, you know, 400, 700, 500, 1,000, a bunch of imbalances in this bar. And then here, where's the follow through? You know, if there's no follow through buying, you know, in the sense that, you know, I use the term follow through buying. Really what I mean is, you know, other buyers coming in and following the move. You know, you're not getting it. Instead, you're getting selling coming in. You know, had positive delta 300, ends up at minus 100 on 5. So it's a swing of 400. The next bar, all negative delta, 0 max delta, min delta minus 686. We close on that number. Delta scalper giving you a sell, and you know, you make a push back down to this area where you got the small delta. Then you start rallying back up again. So, you know, that's it. Basically, this morning, you know, there was some interesting things. I don't really want to get into too much, but let me just see if I can get one other quick chart here for you. The DAX. This is the delta scalper on the DAX, the Uni Renko chart. It's a great market. The DAX. If you're positioned correctly in the DAX, it's a great market to trade. So, you know, you got some small wins here, small wins here, small win here, you know, small win here, I guess you'd call it. And then boom. I mean, even if you were in this trade from here, you got another buy signal here. I don't know if you would have taken this. Maybe you're still long from here, but you know, again, you're talking from an area of 12,280 all the way up to your sell signal up here at 12,330. So that's a 50-point move. You know, the sell fails. Got another sell up here. This one, you know, to me failed. Got some buys. It just goes sideways on you. You know, not every trade is going to be a winner, but you know, if you're risking, you know, 5 ticks on each of these trades, yeah, you just lost 15 ticks. You know, but you just had a 50-tick winner, and even before that, you had, you know, maybe, you know, another 30 points in profits. You got a sell here, it didn't work out. A sell here, it didn't work out. You got a small winner here. Again, you get another small winner here. Loser. Losing trade is what I mean here. Not calling you a loser. Then you get another nice winner here. You know, from 12,995. Up to 320, you know, so even 300, you know, up to 320, you're talking another 20-point move. It takes out some of these losing trades. Another sell here, and then again another buy here at, you know, what this is, 12,310. You know, comes all the way up into this, you know, 30s, 40s area. You know, before the sell-off occurs, you know, a little buy here, a little buy here, a little buy here. This one fails. You know, then getting some nice moves here. So, you know, it's a terrific market to trade with the delta scalper. You know, I don't know what else to say. You know, take a look at it. So, thanks for watching this. To learn more about the trading software, Orderflows Trader, go to orderflows.com, and more information on the delta scalper, go to deltascalper.com. So, thanks, and have a great day. Sorry, guys, I didn't have the trading room open today. I'm not sure what's going on with that anymore, but you know, I'll keep you guys posted. You know, it's September. It's actually kind of a busy month for me, surprisingly. But anyway, guys, you know, if there's anything interesting happens in the afternoon session, I'll try to get a video out in the evening time and discuss what I see. So have a great the rest of the trading day, and I'll try and speak to you later. Bye bye.